Good afternoon everyone. So nandito na naman tayo sa ating panibagong linggo at ating panibagong pag-uusapan sa ating video lesson na ito. So our topic for today is about proportion. So at the end of this module, you are expected to, number one, find the missing term in a pair of equivalent ratios. Number two, define a proportion. Number three, describe a proportion. And number four, recognize when two quantities are in direct proportion. Okay? So let's have this following terminologies and meaning. So proportion. Proportion is a statement of equality of two ratios. And there are also steps to find the missing term in a pair of equivalent ratios. So here are the steps. Number one, write the two ratios. And then number two, identify the missing term. Step three, if the missing term is one of the extremes, multiply the means. And then number four, divide the product of means by the given extreme. And number five, if the missing extreme is one of the means, multiply the extremes. And number six, divide the product of extremes by the given mean. Okay? So two ratios are said to be proportion if the product of the means is equal to the product of the extreme. So the mean, that was it is, that's it. Yan. Ito yung mean natin, B and then C. And then ang ating extreme naman is A and B. The inner one is the means and then the outer part is the extreme. Okay. And in a direct proportion, if one quantity decreases, the other quantity also decreases in the same ratio. So here are the steps and terminologies that you need to know para at least meron tayong guide para ma-solve yung mga problems sa mga susunod na slide. So let's have a situation here, or our problem number one. So problem number one, the ratio of boys to girls in grade 5 math club is 2:3. There are 12 girls in the math club. So the question is, how many are the boys? So the given numbers, we have 2:3, and then there are 12 girls. So meaning to say we're looking for the boys. Okay? So here's the solution. That's the problem. Okay? So the ratio in the problem is 2:3. This means that for every 2 boys in the grade 5 math club, there are 3 girls. Okay? So here's the graph or the picture. So boy girl is 2:3, and then boy girl is n equals 12. So n yung hahanapin nating number, then 12 is the given number, the girls. So that's the first term, second, third, and fourth. So let's have how to find the answer. Okay, so there are 6 steps. So ang given nating number is 2:3 is equals to n is to 12. So, hanapin natin yung n. Yan, yung nawawala. So, the first step, identify the missing term. Ayun na yun, nahanap na natin yung n. Number 3, if the missing term is one of the extreme, multiply the means. Okay? Ang nawawala natin, this is the means, this is the extreme. So, nawawala natin is mean. So, let's move to the number 5 step. If the missing term is one of the means, ito yung means, multiply the extreme. So, the first thing we need to do is we will multiply. Ayan. So, 3x times n. Ito yan. 3 times n. And equals to 2, 12, 12. So, this is the means. And this is the extreme. And after we find the answer, 3 times n is equals to 3n. And then, 2 times 12 is equal to 24. Ayan. Lalabas na siya. Ayan. And para matira lang yung n, divide natin siya both numbers into 3. Ayan. So, 3 divide 3 equals n na lang natira is equals to 24 divide 3. The answer is 8. So, the answer now is 8. So, it's meaning to say that there are 8 boys in the grade 5 math club. So, napakadali lang. Cross multiplication lang natin siya. Yung means, pag mo-multiply natin, 3 times n. At the same time, yung ating extreme, 2 times 12. Ayan, 3 times n, and then equals to 2 times 12. And then after multiplying, maging siyang 3n, and then the other one maging 24. Then, para matira lang yung n, i-divide natin siya dun sa number na nasa gilid. 3 siya. So, both numbers divide by 3. So, it becomes n, and then 24 divide 3 will becomes 8. So, the answer is 8. So let's have another example. Situation number 2. Yan. Maria bought oranges and apples in Lolit's fruit stand with a ratio of 2:3. So 2:3 na naman tayo. If she bought 8 oranges, how many apples did she buy? Okay. So ang ratio natin doon po is 2:3. Bumili siya ng 8 orange. So ilan naman kaya yung apple na binili niya? So hahanapin natin yung apple. So let's try to answer this. Okay. So Maria bought oranges and apples in Lulit's fruit stand with a ratio of 2:3. If she bought 8 oranges, how many apples did she buy? Okay, ayan yung ating nawawala. Nawawala is yung pangalawang, the fourth term. The product of the means is equal to the product of the extreme. So ang means natin is 3 and 8. And then extreme natin is 2 and then the missing number. In the proportion of 2:3 is equals to 8 is to blank, 2 and blank, the first and the fourth terms are the extreme, while 3 and 8, the second and third terms are called the mean. So yung kaya na sinabi ko, yung 3 and 8, yung tatawag nating means, that's the inner part, and then the outer part or the extreme is 2 and then the missing number. Ayan. So, that's the means and the extreme. So, to solve for the unknown term of the proportion, use the cross product method. So, multiply natin siya. 2, ito yun na. 2:3. Ayan. And then 8 is to the missing term. Nang cross multiply, 2 times n is equals to 3 times 8. Ayan. 2 times n, yan yung magiging term natin, is equals to 3 times 8. Then 2 times n, magiging siyang 2n. And then 3 times 8 will become 24. And para mawala yung n, i-divide lang natin siya sa 2. Both numbers. Ayan. So the answer will become n is equal to 12. Therefore, ayan. Therefore, class, two ratios are said to be proportion if the product of the mean is equals to the product of the extreme. A proportion is a statement of the equality of two ratios. Product means is 24. So the product of extreme is also 24. So 2 times 12 is equals to 24. Product of the mean is 3 times 8 is 24. Therefore, 2 and 2:3 is equals to 8 to 12 is an example of the proportion. Ibig sabihin, pareha sila, proportion sila. At the same time, the answer is going to be, the missing term is going to be 12. 12 apples. And then, just to keep it short, 2:3 is equal to 8:12. So let's answer more examples here. Okay. So let's answer number 1. So 5:6 is equals to n is to 24. So let's multiply the extreme. So number 1, we have 6 times n is equal to 24 times 5. Ayan. So multiply natin. 6 times n is equals to 6n. Ayan. And then 24 times 5 is equals to 5 times 4 is 20. 0. Carry to 120. Yan. And then, so para matira na lang yung n, we will divide this number into 6. So dahil dinivide natin siya, kailangan kabila, divide natin sa number 6. Yan. So 6 n divide 6. Okay, balikan natin. Nag-move tayo. 6n divide 6 equals to n. And then, we will divide 120 divide 6. The answer is 6 times 12 is equals to 2 and then 0. So, the answer, the missing number is equal to 20. Therefore, the answer is 5:6. Yan is, sorry, 5:6 is equal to 20/24. Okay, so the answer is 20. Okay, so let's move to another example para mas malinaw. Okay, bigay tayo ng panibagong example natin. Ayan, another example, number 2. And number 2, we have 9/4 is equals to 81n. So we will now multiply 9n, 9 times n is equal to 81 times 4. Ayan. So this is the means, this is the extreme, and this is the means. Okay? So 9 times n equals 9n. Ayan. Equals, and then after that, 81 times 4, the answer is 324. Ayan. So para mawala siya, we will divide this by 9 and the other one is 9 as well. So 9 divide 9 will become n. And then 324 divide 9, the answer is 36. So therefore, the missing term is 36. So 9 is to 4 is equivalent or proportion of 81 is to 36. So let's have last example. Itong number 4 tayo para medyo maliit-liit lang siya. Last example, number 4. And number 4. Okay. So number 4, we have 1/8. 1 is to 8 is equivalent to 5 is to the missing number. Ayan. So let's multiply the first term. 1 times the missing number. 1 times n is equals to 8 times 5. Ayan. So the answer here is 1n is equals to 8 times 5 is equals to 40. And then let's divide. Divide by 1 para mawala siya. Ayan. Becomes n, the other one. 40 divided 1 is equals to 40. Therefore, the missing term is 40. Yeah. So 1 is to 8 is equivalent to 5 is to 40. So to check, multiply natin. So 1 times 40 is equals to 40. 8 times 5 is equals to 40. Therefore, they are equal. They are proportion. Okay? So just to keep it short, let's remember the following things to remember. Proportion is a statement of equality of two ratios. And then steps to find the missing term in a pair of equivalent ratios. We have 6 steps. Number 1, write the two ratios. The second one is identify the missing term. The third one is if the missing term is one of the extremes, multiply the means. And the number 4, divide the product of means by the given extreme. And number 5, if the missing term is one of the means, multiply the extreme. And number 6, divide the product of extreme by the given mean. And then two ratios are said to be proportion if the product of the means is equal to the product of the extreme. So, multiply lang natin siya. And last part, in a direct proportion of if one quantity increases, decreases, the other quantity also increases, decreases in the same ratio. Okay, so if you learn from this video, so I think that's the end of our lesson for today. Everything that you learned from this video, just click like, share, and subscribe, and see you on my next video. Thank you.